This is Misha, and have a kind of new old or old new product to show you here. Just imported and being marketed by Atlantic Firearms. This is the Romanian Cugir WASR10 UF. These are imported by Century Arms, who pretty much does all the Romanian guns now. But at this time, Atlantic Firearms is really the only distributor carrying, because a small number came in, relatively speaking, and Century didn't have enough to spread them around, and Atlantic kind of got the deal because they're known for marketing more unique and interesting niche items. And this is something pretty neat. Hasn't been available for some time. And to compare this new WASR10 UF, I brought out my original Romanian GP WASR10 63 underfolder. Very similar gun. These were brought in about 10 years ago, and they were built from original military rifles that were demilled and then reassembled on a semi-auto receiver with a brand new barrel over in Romania and then shipped over here as complete guns. Whereas the new WASR10 UF is also built over in Romania entirely, but from all new parts. In fact, it has a 2018 dated trunnion. Now, before we go on, I did make a couple of changes. This originally had the slab side handguards. You see them on all the WASRs and stuff now. I like the palm swell, and I had this set, so I put a set of palm swell on it just for me. Otherwise, we have a more modern sling. This did not come with the rifle. This actually came out of a WASR10, a modern production one actually, box. I just put it on here because it looks nice and I like these slings a lot. Otherwise, we have a 14mm threaded barrel. We have this removable slant brake, cleaning right under it. This is a 16 1/4 cold hammer forge chrome line barrel, Romanian. One thing this is missing, the bayonet lug. The wings are shaved off. Now all WASRs, because of our import regulations, come in with the bayo shaved off. But on some guns, at least before, Century would weld the bayonet lug wings back on, as they have on this gun. But for whatever reason, on this one they did not. We have a Romanian 1mm stamped receiver. We do have the XY stampings here. Even the one for the axis third pin is actually here. Obviously there's no hole, that wouldn't be legal. No scope rail because no, underfolder. Sling swivels, pretty well standard there. We have a standard mag well. These come in as single stacks and are cut out. Then they can take a double. Standard mags. I just put a 20 in it because 20 looks nice in a underfolder. And of course the main star of the show, the underfolding stock. Let's look at this one. This has the first pattern, or original pattern, of, there you go, Romy underfolding stock. It's a machined, it's a milled stock. It has scoop here and two here, with a divot here for the safety. Spring-loaded butt plate. And this is basically an exact copy of the Russian AKS, or AKS-47 if you wish, stock. Boop. Folds up. Because it's a copy of the original pattern, it doesn't lock on the right side. If you notice, any of you who have a more modern, like an AKMS underfolder, there are locking tabs on this side. This is just a hinge on this one. The locking tabs are internal and on this side only. Again, this was done on all the original milled AKs, but when they went to the AKMS in Russia, they went to the double locking tab system, but Romania kept this. It's a nice stock. but not always the sturdiest. This one has the first Romanian pattern that they designed, the second one they used. This is still a machined stock, but it has very simplified lightning cuts. The bars are much thinner, rounded, still has a spring-loaded butt plate, and it too only locks on this side. It's actually much thinner struts, but still machined. This was the second type used in Romania, and really the first type to be uniquely Romanian. Now there is a third type that's very similar to this in profile, but instead of being machined steel, solid tubes, it has hollow tubular steel. So kind of like an MP40. It, to me, is neat, but ultimately feels pretty darn flimsy. I like this style because it's slim. It's lighter than this one. And so far, these 10 UFs, WASR10 UFs, seem to have this stock. I've only asked a few people that have received these in, and they've all indicated that they've received this second pattern Romanian stock. There might be people out there where they get firsts or thirds, I don't know. If you have one of these, please let us know in the comment which style of stock you ended up with. This gun has a pretty nice, even Parkerized finish. It's kind of a rough park. It probably would smooth out with some oil and use. Still a smooth gun though. Has the Century RAK1 Rack 1 trigger. Happy they've kind of gotten away from the Tapco jobbers. Perfectly smooth, nice gun. Safety works. It's not too tight, too loose. Gas tube is tight. Stock is about as tight as I've ever seen a single-sided underfolder. Like I said, I did put palm swell handguards. I'm just not a big fan of the slab siders, but that's a personal choice. It's something I had laying around on the desk. This folds up smoothly. Doesn't interfere with the magazine. It's not really offset to one side or the other. It's very well centered. Some of these underfolders can kind of cant to one side or the other. It's mostly a cosmetic thing, but still kind of annoying. Like I said, this one was built from all new production parts. This one was built from an original kit, and as a result, actually some of the parts have kind of a salt blue to them, like the stock and top cover. The receiver is phosphated, Parkerized. Some of the other small parts are blued from the original kit. Now this dong I did put on here, reverse dong. This is what they used on their PM65 underfolders in the military. Originally, this one actually came with the palm swell handguards. Similar to these, but not quite as nicely finished. They were just very kind of raw wood, but they were palm swell. This one still has a machined gas block, front sight base. Other kind of features you'll find on the earlier production Romanian guns. Has a slightly earlier style top cover. Doesn't have the dimple here, or the big lip. And as I pointed out, it has the first style of stock. This one, being of the current gen, nicely locks in, has more modern parts. For example, it has the cast gas block and front sight base. These are things that Romania would go to in the 70s and 80s, so they're very common. Don't worry, the trunnion is still forged, as is the bolt. And we have the later style top cover with the dimple here over the safety and a little bit of the flared lip, as you see. It's actually kind of a carryover from the AK-74, but Romania would switch to it later. If anyone who has an SAR-1 or one of the earlier WASRs will be used to this style of parts as well. So I really think this is a pretty nice gun. It's good to see finally at least a variant of the WASR. For a long time we pretty much just had the wood stocked WASR and maybe a Magpul edition. We had the RH10. We had the paratrooper in small numbers. These underfolders have not been available for quite some time. I think the last time I remember seeing them from Century actually in stock was, shoot, 2010, 11, I don't know, a long time ago. And those again were built from the used parts guns, which I think are neat because you have military service parts in them. But this one also has the neat fact that it's all brand new, very tightly, very special fitted parts. It does feel a little tighter, honestly, a little less play and everything. This one's pretty rattly, and most of these were. I remember when these came in, I actually picked this one for myself because it was one of the better fitting ones. But this is seems a little better. Don't really have a lot of mag wiggle. Just kind of normal. These do ship with P-mags, so they do kind of oversize the mag well just a smidge to make sure P-mags and other polymers will work. But yeah, not really any more play than in this one here. About the same. This one might have a smidgen more, but that was kind of the era those are coming in. Well, we're going to take this out to the range very soon. It'll shoot like an AK, but you know, still, if we're going to show you guys, we need to shoot it. I know, but it's about 95 out there and about 108% humidity. And this just came in, so I wanted to do a little teaser for you. If you got one of these in, we'd love to hear your experiences with it. If you liked the video, we'd appreciate you click like. If you'd like to help support the channel, we'd appreciate it if you check out our Patreon page. As always, this is Misha, and we will catch you next time.